Steven Stone, the elite Steel-type Pokemon trainer and the former champion of the Hoenn region. Steven is best described as a very noble and upstanding trainer who is very much focused on achievement. His nature is likely explained by his upbringing under his father, Mr. Stone, who is the well-respected president of the massive Devon Corporation. Steven's father even tells us that his grandfather was a former president of the corporation, meaning that Steven likely comes from a long line of very successful businessmen. Despite this fact, Steven evidently geared his ambitions towards being a Pokemon trainer instead, but of course also reached a very high level of success in his own field. While Steven says that he often doesn't understand his father, and his father says that because he's always so immersed in his work, he doesn't really understand trendy things like attempting to battle and reach the Pokemon League, they do both seem to have a deep mutual respect for the paths that they've each taken. Steven also has the same generous spirit that his father has, often gifting the player rare Pokemon. Like most champions, Steven does seem to have quite a mysterious side as well. Many of the times we meet him, he's out in various obscure locations doing field research, and he's often aware about the nature and whereabouts of rare legendary Pokemon such as Latios and Latias. Steven also takes a lot of responsibility in protecting the Hoenn region, as he often helps the protagonists when any threats arise, such as Team Aqua and Team Magma's schemes, or the imminent arrival of an asteroid. His ambition and sense of responsibility do cause him to be quite serious at times, however. For instance, there are two separate instances in which his father and Zinnia joke that he is the former champion after the protagonist beat him, and he doesn't respond. He also later expresses disappointment in his inability to save the region and his need to rely on the protagonist, which partially leads him to give up his post as champion to his friend Wallace in order to learn more and become a better trainer. Ultimately, it's revealed that he perceived his role in the Pokemon League as a duty and wishes to fulfill his other hopes. This provides us with a very rare opportunity to see a champion go through a journey of self-awareness, in which he equally pursues battling and becoming stronger along with his scientific research. Interestingly, he actually becomes stronger during this process than when he was champion, but we'll get into that shortly. Given all of these factors, it's evident that we're dealing with an immensely ambitious and powerful trainer. But just how powerful is he? It's time to figure out just how strong Steven Stone really is and what his best possible Pokemon team is by looking at all of his appearances in the main series games. It's time to figure out his true power. The first time we battle Steven is in Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire, where despite us meeting him several times without him mentioning it, it turns out he's actually the champion of the Hoenn region. When we first met him in Granite Cave, he mentioned that he thought we were actually powerful enough to perhaps one day become the champion ourselves, and this is the moment where we find out if his prediction was true. In this champion battle, Steven has a full party of 6 and starts the battle with a level 57 Skarmory, followed by a level 55 Claydol, a level 56 Aggron, a level 56 Cradily, a level 56 Armaldo, and finally a level 58 Metagross. The next time we see Steven is actually in Pokemon Emerald, the third version game for Ruby and Sapphire. In this game, we can actually battle alongside him against Maxie and Tabitha of Team Magma, where he seems to have brought some of his weaker Pokemon, including a level 42 Metang, a level 43 Skarmory, and a level 44 Aggron. By the time we reach the Champions Room in the Hoenn Pokemon League in Emerald, we find out that Steven is actually no longer the champion. As it turns out, he actually gave up his seat to his friend Wallace, who was previously the Water-type gym leader of Sootopolis City. However, this doesn't mean that we still can't challenge him. Steven can secretly be found in the Meteor Falls after the protagonist has become the champion, where we can battle the true strongest trainer in Hoenn, and boy oh boy has he become a lot more powerful since he was champion. In this battle, Steven begins with a now whopping level 77 Skarmory, his Claydol now at level 75, his Aggron, Cradily, and Armaldo all at level 76, and finally his Metagross at an insane level 78. This is definitely among the strongest NPC teams in the main series games, but Steven's not quite done yet. Although Steven is able to be found in the Gold and Silver remakes, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, unfortunately we don't get the opportunity to battle with him in these games. Instead, he helps us find a Latios or Latias, gives us one of the Hoenn starters, and also trades us a Beldum in exchange for a Fortress, since it's apparently a Steel-type Pokemon that he has never seen before. The second last time we're actually able to battle Steven occurs in Pokemon Black 2 and White 2, where he actually participates in the Pokemon World Tournament. He can only be battled in one singular tournament, the hard-to-access Champions Tournament, despite not being a current champion. As always, the Pokemon World Tournament automatically sets Pokemon to level 50, but we can get a good idea of new additions to his collection since the events of Gen 3 and how competitively viable his Pokemon have become. As with most trainers in this tournament, Steven has some great competitively viable movesets and items on his Pokemon. In this tournament, Steven rotates between his Metagross, Aggron, a brand new Excadrill, a brand new Archeops, his Cradily, and his Armaldo. The final games that we can encounter Steven in are of course the Ruby and Sapphire remakes Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where he can actually be encountered in battle on 4 separate occasions. The first is against him as the Hoenn Region Champion, where he's got the same 6 Pokemon as the Gen 3 games, although their levels are overall a bit higher, and there's one very important thing that we have to take note of if we're to construct his true power team. He starts with his level 57 Skarmory, Claydol, Aggron, Cradily, and Armaldo, followed by his level 59 Metagross. However, his Metagross now has access to the Metagrossite Megastone, proving not only that Steven is talented enough as a trainer to perform Mega Evolution, but also that he now has a Mega Metagross, which is a truly threatening Pokemon. The protagonist also participates in a multi-battle with Steven against Team Aqua or Team Magma during the Delta episode, however he does use the exact same team as this champion team. The third time we encounter Steven in battle is during a rematch that we can have with him at the Pokemon League after the Delta episode is completed, in which he's become immensely more powerful since the previous battle and has some new additions to his collection. Steven starts the champion rematch with a level 77 Skarmory, Claydol, and Aggron, followed by a brand new level 77 Carbink, a new level 77 Aerodactyl, and finally his Mega Metagross now at level 79. It's worthy to note that Steven can be battled in the Battle Maison, but he just has his Aerodactyl and Mega Metagross both automatically set to level 50. It's time for the moment we've all been waiting for. Using all of his appearances in the main series Pokemon games, let's construct Steven Stone's best possible team. The first pick is going to go to what is undoubtedly Steven's best Pokemon, his signature Metagross from his Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Champion Rematch team, which is at level 79, with the Metagrossite Megastone making it a Mega Metagross. Mega Metagross is currently in the Uber tier of competitive battling, which is of course the very highest tier. Steven employs unreal move options on this thing, including Stab Meteor Mash, which of course has a 20% chance to raise its attack even further than it already is, Stab Priority Bullet Punch, and Stab Zen Headbutt, along with Earthquake and Hammer Arm for additional coverage. The next spot on Steven's best team is going to go to his Skarmory from his secret Pokemon Emerald Meteor Falls battle, in which it's at level 77. Skarmory is currently in the OU tier of competitive battling and has consistently been an amazing defender since its introduction. With great typing and moves like Stab Aerial Ace and Steel Wing, along with utility moves like Spikes, Toxic, and Protect, Skarmory can wear down the opposing team really well in preparation for some of Steven's massive offensive threats to sweep. The third pick is going to go to Steven's Excadrill from his Pokemon Black 2 and White 2 World Tournament team. Excadrill is currently also in the OU tier of competitive battling and is definitely a threat that must be considered on any team. Now, as per the rules of the tournament, Excadrill is of course automatically set to level 50, however, looking at all of Steven's Pokemon, their levels are remarkably consistent, and you'll see what I mean as we complete the rest of his team. Given that, and the fact that Steven chose to use this thing in what is arguably the most important Pokemon tournament of all time, we can assume it's among his best Pokemon, or at least on par with his others in terms of level, so we'll safely say around level 75 or so. With moves like Stab Earthquake, Stab Metal Claw, and Swords Dance through level up, along with great coverage from X-Scissor and Rock Slide, and the ability to use and take advantage of Sandstorm with the Sand Rush ability, Excadrill can do some serious damage to types that counter a lot of the rest of his team. The fourth pick is going to go to Steven's Aerodactyl from his Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Champion Rematch team, which is at level 77. Aerodactyl is currently in the NU tier of competitive battling and provides some much needed speed on Steven's team. With stab moves like Rock Slide and Wing Attack through level up, along with insane coverage from Ice Fang, Fire Fang, and Thunder Fang, Aerodactyl fulfills a great sweeping niche and rounds out this team really well. The second last pick is going to go to Steven's Aggron, also from his Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Champion Rematch team, and also at level 77. Aggron is currently in the PU tier of competitive battling, but the rest of his high-level Pokemon are similarly ranked or worse, so we're kind of limited in our options here. Aggron does fulfill a nice tank niche with stab moves such as Stone Edge, Head Smash, which works really well with the Rock Head ability, and Iron Tail, and also has surprisingly good coverage in Steven's care with Earthquake, Avalanche, and Dragon Claw. And the final pick for Steven's best team is going to go to his Cradily from his Pokemon Emerald Meteor Falls team, which is at level 76. In competitive battling, Cradily is currently untiered, but it can actually perform surprisingly well in the right teams, and in my opinion is quite underrated. Cradily is the only Pokemon on this team that can use special attacks with a reliable damage output, and also has Grass Stab, which is quite valuable on this team to counter common weaknesses. With stab moves like Seed Bomb, Giga Drain, Ancient Power with a chance to raise all of Cradily's stats, and other moves such as Ingrain for more recovery, Sludge Bomb, and Toxic to stall out the opponent, which we know Steven has the TM for since he has it on his Skarmory. Cradily's Storm Drain ability can also help immensely against opposing water types that would be looking to hit Excadrill, Aggron, or Aerodactyl, and boosting Cradily's special attack in the process. Overall, Cradily really helps to round out this team, especially as a special defender to complement Skarmory's great physical defense. Steven also has some other amazing Pokemon that, while they don't quite make his best team, are definitely alternatives to consider. First is his level 50 plus Archeops, which we can assume is also around level 75 but is already outclassed in its role by Aerodactyl, especially given Archeops' terrible defeatist ability. Next is his level 77 Claydol, whose typing is already covered by Excadrill and Metagross, and whose only other utility, its access to Rapid Spin, could also be covered by Excadrill. Next is his level 76 Armaldo, whose typing doesn't really add any value to his team and is outclassed by the other choices. Finally, we've got his level 77 Carbink, which just isn't really great for anything that this team doesn't already have. Well, there we go everyone, we have discovered Steven's true power and unveiled his strongest possible team in the main series games. If you enjoyed this video and are looking forward to more from this series, please be sure to leave a like, share it with a friend who you think would enjoy it, and subscribe with notifications on by hitting that bell icon if you haven't already. All forms of support help a ton with getting this video recommended by YouTube and are super appreciated. Don't forget to comment down below with what trainer you wish to see featured next. The comment with the most likes will pick the trainer for the next trainer's episode and will be featured on screen. This has been Sylph Spectre, and I'll see you guys next time for some more True Power.